We go about a lot of times in life looking for resources. This video is reminding you what you need is resourcefulness.
Yeah. I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today I'm talking about resourcefulness, okay? This is a skill set that everybody needs, okay? As you hear, there's a bunch of crows here, okay? I just did a ritual over here. This is my grandparents' place. It brings back old memories, and you know, it's an interesting place. Slight bit of rain right now, but yeah, I'm gonna get into this topic. So what makes a resourceful personality? This is what I really want to get into, because our evolution has made us so that we have resources, so that we have certain resources and expanding our resources. Like, what do? We have extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. All of those things are for expanding our resources, right? If you just look at the basis of evolution, right? Money, fame, sex, you know, just getting the certification, getting this, getting that, that's all external, right? Extrinsic motivation. And there's intrinsic, autonomy, right? Purpose, curiosity, okay? Right? All of these things are intrinsic. So autonomy is actually this understanding that we have a control of our own time, right? We can do what we want with our time. Our sense of motivation comes from drive, grit, and our goals, okay? Now, I've been reading Stephen Kotler's new book, The Art of the Impossible, and so a few of these ideas are from there. One of the concepts that they talk about is their finite games, which are like politics or sports or war, and then they're infinite games. Infinite games is like art or love, or these concepts like peak performance, right? Peak performance doesn't necessarily have a win-lose, right? Doesn't have any rules, doesn't have any quote-unquote players, but the whole point of it is just to be playing. But the thing is, there might not be winning or losing, but there's still a sense of losing, in the sense that you can't accumulate enough resources. So in the game of survival, if you look at it, I mean, the main thing is number one, get resources, and number two, you know, get children so you can pass on those resources to them, right? This is kind of the two basic rules. So understanding that as the basis, now you want to understand, okay, now I want resourcefulness, right? What can resourcefulness do for me? I can make use of the resources that I already have, right? It's like MacGyver, how he can like just take random objects around him and like create some kind of a weapon or something to escape the labyrinth and things like that, right? So you want to understand that skill set. Look at all these crows, man. This is wild. Caw, 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 caw. All right, we get it. You want to make use of what you already have, okay? Now this takes creativity, actually. Creativity also being a flow trigger. Creativity also being a flow trigger, which causes more flow, which causes more creativity. You want to be resourceful, meaning, so what are the traits of a resourceful person? One, you want to burn your bridges, okay? You want to burn your bridges. You don't want to keep things from the past latching on to the now. That's not going to help you be more resourceful, because you want to start from that blank slate and that Shoshin mindset, beginner's mind, right? The second thing that I would say is I want you to focus on being a lot more open-minded, okay? What does this mean? Open-minded doesn't just mean that open your mind so much that other people brainwash you and influence you. That's not what I mean by open-minded, okay? Open-minded is trying new things, looking at things in new ways, right? This sense of adaptation where you adapt to new scenarios, right? And you look at things in a different way, in a new light, in a fresh pair of eyes, in a new perspective. That's what it takes to be a really highly resourceful person. The other thing with the resourceful people is they don't apologize unnecessarily, right? They don't over-apologize, because they know that what they took on their path was meant to be what they needed at that time, right? That was their level of consciousness then when they took that thing. And so they don't really make a lot of mistakes because they know their mistakes to be lessons. And so they don't need to overly apologize for no reason. Right? So instead of saying like, sorry, I'm late, they'd say, thank you for your patience, right? They're much more invested in the gratitude rather than worrying about and like, oh, I hope I don't step on people's toes, right? Oh, I hope I don't unnecessarily offend somebody by mistake, right? They don't have that accidental mindset. They're much more of like a progressive mindset, right? A proactive mindset of like, let me solve this, let me have growth, right? Let me have a growth mindset. Yo, what up, bro? What's good? Nothing to say? You know what I think about resourceful people is they also ask for what they need, okay? they ask for help. Like, they're not going to be like, oh, it's going to look weak for me to ask for help, or I'm not going to reach out to this person because they'll look like I'm trying to get something from them. They don't have that mindset, right? Resourceful people are like, yo, this person can help me, I'm going to reach out to them. The other person is an expert in this area and I'm not, so I'm going to get their perspective on it, right? And get much more leverage, get much more of an integration happening with my knowledge. The next thing I'd say is they don't play all of their cards at once, okay? They're not going to play all their cards. They keep their mystery alive in a sense, right? Of what they do is they really understand that, okay, as I'm keeping my mystery alive, man, all these crows are like trying to, like, I don't know. Do I deserve this? I don't know, man. Is this too good to be true? Like, do I just like take, like, is this for abundance? Is this like gratitude right now? No, I can't be. Definitely can't be. Dude, this is, no, guys, is there really food here? I can't believe this. All right, I guess so. Nah. So essentially, what I want to tell you guys is that, you know, really start to understand this power of resourcefulness, okay? Because it's going to take you to a whole nother level of peak performance. Like, this is actually not meant for the common man. This is not meant for the normies or the mediocre people. Resourcefulness is actually a skill set where you can actually expand your capabilities, right? Your horizons. You can expand your horizons. So this thing about not showing all your cards at once, you're not scared to play the long game, right? Because what you're doing is you're like, okay, I'm going to show this side of my personality because they deserve it, right? Make your empathy, make your skill sets, make your strengths a privilege, okay? Don't hand out all of that to everybody and then feel drained at the end of the day. It's like, play the right cards at the right time, right? Be strategic, be calculated in some way, right? You want to be tactical in this game, right? Even though it's an infinite game, you can still be tactical within that infinite game of peak performance, right? Let's become winners in this game. Even though there's no winning or losing, let's become winners, right? That's the whole point, is we gotta gain more resources, but we do that through the skill set of resourcefulness, which is an internal thing you can control. You might not have a car, but you might find a way to transport yourself, right? That's resourcefulness. Or you take a bus, you take, you know, a bicycle, you hitchhike, you do something, you get to the end goal from point A to point B. Just because you don't have the resources doesn't mean you can't get there. You see what I'm saying? There's no barriers there because you have this weaving fluidity, this mindset of just like moving through that persistence and being very, very strategic with it, okay? The last thing that I want to state about resourcefulness is that they look for the common good, okay? The common good of humankind. They want to do better for humanity in general. They don't want to do better for one particular cause like that. Like, they can, and that's okay, but really resourceful people, they're looking at that bigger picture. They're trying to find the common good. And in general, they're trying to add value, right? They're adding value. They might be adding value at a small scale, or they might be adding value at a bigger scale. It doesn't matter, but they're coming from a frequency of adding value. That's all we need to know about that. The other thing about resourceful individuals are that they're very honest, right? They're very well-spoken and honest with their feelings and what they're going through. And they're not overly feeling, right? But they're the right balance of intuitive and practical, okay? So you really want to understand that if you're a resourceful person, you know, you're being completely open and trustworthy with yourself and therefore with others. You also are a bit of a rule breaker, a bit of a rebel, right? You're not exactly going to follow all the rules. They bend the rules, essentially. Right? They bend reality, they bend space and time to make things happen and weave the way for the manifestation to occur, essentially. Right? So they're actually being the cause in their life. They're not being the effect of life. Right? They're the one who is self-reliant and actually moving forward and making things happen when you're being resourceful. Resourceful people also read a lot, okay? They don't necessarily have to read an entire book or an entire history encyclopedia or something like that, but they will look for the little chunks of knowledge and they will small chunk it in their brain. So they'll be like, sort of like the walking Wikipedias, right? In a sense, they'll walk around with they'll streamline a bunch of facts in their mind and be able to go back to things. Once you really understand the skill set of being able to read a lot, so like just creating the habit of reading, it will make you a lot more resourceful because you'll have this entire library in the back of your mind, right, to be able to pull from. And that's going to create this amazing record, right, for you. Like we talk about the Akashic records, right? You can tap into the Akashic records and just like pull like streams of information. That's what you're doing, right? In a sense, when you're resourceful, you're just pulling streams of information that you need at that time, right? You're a great Googler if you want, if that's a title, you know, you can give yourself that title if you're resourceful. You know, you're a great Googler, okay? Finally, I want to state the last thing is, if you're resourceful, you are imaginative, okay? You are extremely imaginative. When you have your imagination, you can create the reality that you really prefer by using your imagination, because visualization, which is daydreaming with intention, is from the imagination. And we think mostly in images. That's how our thoughts work, is mostly in images, right? So when you can control the images in your mind and get it to merge in the way that you want your reality to work out, well, guess what? That's resourceful. That's very resourceful. When you're being imaginative, when you're being hyper creative, when you're creating these scenarios. Now, the issue is if you're just doing that and you have it in your mind, but you can't make the ethereal into the material, that becomes problematic too. So you want to actually get the willpower, that solar plexus chakra energy of just like, boom, like putting it out into the physical world, right? That's that masculine energy, is to be able to protect the physical world, do the physical things, and the feminine energy, which takes charge of the metaphysical world, right? So we have to actually let go and receive in order to get into that mode of the metaphysical, right? Remember, writing reality, okay? On the 18th, 19th, and 20th, okay, there is an event called Writing Reality happening, okay? It's with AZD, my mentor, as well as Ivan. He's on it too. 3 days. It's going to be a really incredible event, you know, 2 hours each day, max, okay? So we might go under time, overtime, but it's going to be according to how we help you individually in that program, right? So if you are interested in that, shoot me a message, okay? We're going to get you on there. Hey, there's a limit to the signups, okay? So first come, first served. We're not going to, you know, mess around with this. This is about quantum jumping into your ultimate reality, okay? There's no jokes here. Okay, this is serious stuff. It takes a lot of energy from me and Ivan and AZD to do this kind of event, right? So again, just letting you guys know about that. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. Let's get it today. Boom.